What's up, everybody? Hello, it's Graham. I'm here in La Union, Philippines, and I'm here with my friend Jenny, and we're sitting here on the beach. The sun is setting, and we're drinking. First of all, I have this like lemon ginger, like a ginger soda. It's a little bit of lemon in it. It's very good. It's not very sweet. I don't like it too sweet. What are you drinking?
I'm having cold brew.
Cold brew.
Yep. I needed a little caffeine.
Yes, she had a big photo shoot today. So I'm traveling the world, and I'm just meeting very interesting people. I want to hear everybody's story. So you were telling me yesterday, like, you're from the Philippines, but you studied in Spain, Barcelona.
No, I studied in it's a region called Castilla León, and then I studied in a place called Valladolid. That's like the state. Yeah.
Okay. So she studied in Spain.
Yes, I did.
And you were in academia. Well, first when we met, we started, habla español. So,
Sí, hablo español.
I was like, I did not think I'd be speaking Spanish in the Philippines, but it was really cool. And then you were a professor for a long time, and now so tell everybody what you were doing, and now what your job is now, what you're doing now, which I love. I love this, and I think this is a thing when you meet people in beach cities. Beach surf towns attract out-of-the-box thinkers, even though you're not even a surfer, but it still just attracts.
I'm a free diver.
Yeah, you're a free diver, right? So you're ocean. That means you got the water.
Yep.
The ocean is a part of who you are, and it's important to you to be near the ocean.
Exactly.
Whether it's diving or surfing or kayaking or whatever, if you're an ocean person, you got that thing that you need to do.
Exactly. That's why I live here.
Yeah, explain your journey and what brought you here.
Oh my God, in La Union, you mean?
Yeah, what got you here from you went from academia to...
I think it all started when I got back home from Spain. I got back home from Spain around 2013, and it was a lot of things for me, a lot of changes, sort of like reverse culture shock, and then...
You were in Spain for how long?
God, 2.5 years.
Okay.
I studied there for 2.5 years, and then I had to go back to the Philippines 2013 because I had to go back to teaching. So I was a Spanish professor. I didn't start out as a professor. I was an instructor.
Spanish professor. It's amazing.
I started studying Spanish in the Philippines, and then I went to Spain, and then I had to go back because I needed to teach. And when I went back to the Philippines, it was just like reverse culture shock. So it was very...
Explain that. What does that mean?
Because, living in another country and then having to go back, that's a huge shift. Spain has completely transformed me as a person, as an academic, as a critical thinker. And so, coming back to where you're originally from, I had to question a lot of things.
Like what?
Like who I was, what was I doing in academia? Is this the correct path for me still? It was such a huge shift, really. And then I also ended this very, very long relationship while I was in Spain. So it was coming back to the Philippines, it was just so, I don't have the word for it. It was just, it made me rethink everything.
So did you feel sort of yes, you're Filipino, yes, you grew up here, but did you sort of feel like maybe I don't fit in here anymore? Was there kind of that?
A little bit, but not so much. Mostly, I feel like with regards to my Filipino identity, I was mostly struggling with the concept of colonization and decolonization.
So for those who don't know, this was a Spanish colony beginning in 1521.
Yep.
And one of the things Jenny told me yesterday, which I was not aware of, is that the Spanish wiped out all Filipino culture prior to 1521. So it's like you have this. It's sort of like the African Americans who, because of slavery, they don't know. They know only back to when the slave. They don't know where they came from in Africa because of that. So
exactly, and it was very it was something I had to deal with when I was in Spain because the first thing people would ask me there would be, "What's your name?" And then of course, since I don't look like them, they'd be like, "Where are you from?" And I'd be like, "Yo, I'm from the Philippines." And all of them, I kid you not, all of them would say, "Where is that?" ¿Dónde está? And I'm like, yo,
¿Dónde está? Wow.
¿Dónde está?
You guys
And I was
don't know
like,
where your government used to colonize back in the day?
Exactly. They were here for like 333 years.
Wow.
And you know, when you study Philippine history, it's mostly just about Spain. A big chunk of it is about Spain because they were here for so long. And we lost all of our like previous records because they wiped out everything. And so, you know, like one of like my identity, like one of the things that I had to like grapple with when I was there was like this rage of like, yo, you guys were here for so long and you guys don't even know where that is.
Yeah.
And you know, like that was a very hard time for the country because we were essentially slaves, you know.
Yeah.
They were getting resources from the country and then bringing it to their other colonies or bringing it to Spain. And then they don't even teach us in their history classes there. And so those are like one of the things that I had to, you know, like how do I position myself given that that's another thing. Like, why am I teaching Spanish? Like, why am I not teaching like other Filipino languages? We have so many languages in this country that we have like, depends on who you ask, but like around 185 languages.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Because
Wow.
like we're an archipelago, right?
Sure.
So nearly every single island would have its own unique language.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, so why the hell are you teaching Spanish? Why are you not teaching Filipino or like all of your other languages? And it's a lot of that. And then also, I'm ashamed to say that, you know, I am more fluent in English than I am in Filipino. And so that's another thing. So stuff like that.
Okay, so you had this questioning of your identity.
Yeah.
You're going through this whole, I don't know, I would call it maybe the intergenerational trauma of
Yeah.
colonization. I mean, you and I were talking about, my grandfather is 100% Irish, and my mom's side of the family is predominantly Irish, and how Ireland was under British rule for 700 years, and they wouldn't allow, they took away Gaelic, the Irish language, and I remember when I went to Dublin 2 years ago, and I got off the plane, and there were signs in English and this other language, and I was like, what is that? And I was like, holy shit, that's Gaelic. And I was like, you know, I'm an American, of Irish descent.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of Americans go, I'm Irish or whatever. I'm an American of Irish descent, but I don't know, I was like, wow, and how come, I kind of had a little, not to the extent that you did, it sounds like, but I definitely felt like, oh, I should study this.
Exactly, because like
Gaelic.
that's part of who I am. That's
Yeah.
part of my ancestry and my history.
Okay, so you went through this, you moved back here, you had this sort of,
I guess you could say it's an awakening of sort because it was like a total shift in consciousness with regards to everything.
okay, so then you had that shift in consciousness. It started out as sort of a conflict within yourself that usually that brings about a shift, right? And then now you start reading tarot cards.
Okay, so
So how do we go from master's degree to 7 of Cups? How do we get to that? How does that go?
no, so you know,
And full disclosure to our audience, my father, esoteric college professor, used to read tarot, and so I grew up with all of this.
Yeah.
None of this stuff, past lives, none of that is like what? I was raised in this bizarre household of like Irish Catholic like guilt and discipline and you know cracking you in the mouth, and then hippie free love was like, this is very conflicting messages you're giving me. So to just say to the audience, you guys might not know, I'm totally okay with tarot readings and past lives and karma and all that stuff kind of makes sense to me. So how did you then go from academia to that?
So you know, like the only thing I knew how to do was to research because I was an academic. And so I was feeling incredibly dysregulated because of all of these shifts. And I was like, okay, like how do I address this? Because I was feeling super angry and anxious and depressed. And I was like, so what do I do with this? So I started to research how to make myself feel better. And I stumbled upon meditation. So that's when I started meditating. And then I started...
Meditation, by the way, is so amazing. I think it was maybe the Dalai Lama, I don't know, who said if we taught like 7, 8-year-olds to
How to
meditate 10 minutes
yeah.
a day, it would change the entire, like, we'd have no more war and any of that
Exactly.
stuff. Anyway, I just wanted
Exactly.
to, it's a really, and if folks, just the sub thing here, if you've never meditated, you can research and read books and take classes, that's all great. You wanna know the easiest thing? Just sit quietly, breathe in your nose, positive, breathe out your mouth, anything you're feeling negative, and just regulate your breath and think about it. And thoughts come in and out of your head, and it's okay. And if a negative thought comes in, that's fine, just release it. Just start doing that. Anyway, you started meditating.
I started meditating, and then after meditation, I started doing yoga, because like yoga is basically movement meditation. You're just, linking a specific movement with your breath.
Yeah.
And so I started doing that. But then I started getting more sensitive to like sensations, because that's what happens when you meditate, right? Like when you just tune in inside, then you start noticing all of these sensations within your body, because that's what you're supposed to do, right? Like breathe and then just like feel things.
Yeah.
And then I started feeling things that I didn't really know how to describe. Like right now, I would say it was energy. And so since I'm a nerd, I was like, okay, let me study this more. So I started with meditation, and then I did yoga, and then I did Reiki. So Reiki is this system of energy healing that is from Japan. And so I had someone attune me to that, so I could practice it to myself and to others. So it's basically like healing intentions. It's like hands-on healing. So you touch yourself, you touch someone, and then you just like transmit energy through that, through thoughts and intentions, kind of like prayers, something like that. So I started, after Reiki, I was like, I kind of want to know more about this, because I like research. And then I was into tarot.
Meditation to Reiki to tarot. It's a slippery slope, you guys. Meditation's a gateway drug.
It kind of is, to be seriously honest.
No, it is. I mean, it is, but it does chemically change your body.
It really does.
Yeah, it brings
really
down
does.
your, especially if you have stress, cortisol gets. Yeah, I started studying more about body chemistry because I was like having stress and anger, and I was like, oh, this cortisol is an addictive thing, and it wounds everything up.
It really is.
And then like laughing immediately brings that down.
Exactly.
So yeah, it is a gateway drug. I mean, it is. It's a gateway drug to the drug of like more calm, more centered, more focused.
Exactly. And so I started reading the tarot, and I was like incorporating Reiki and tarot. And then after I finished Reiki, because essentially there are 3 levels in Reiki. So after that, I did another energy system. It's called Seraphim Blueprint. It's
that
like
I
this,
don't know.
Yeah, forgot to tell you. Sorry.
Yeah, what is that one? I know Reiki. I've had somebody do Reiki on me. What's this one?
It's kind of like Reiki. Like if energy healing would be ice cream, like Reiki would be vanilla, and I'd say like Seraphim Blueprint is a different flavor, but it's essentially the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah. So I did that, and then after that, I did past life reading. So I asked, I looked for someone who could teach me past life reading.
So let me, the past life reading is really interesting. So is that something you'd always been open to? Because I know it's not really in Catholicism, and this is a Catholic country.
Yeah,
so.
but I'm an academic, remember? So, okay, just like side quest about like how like I deconstructed like that part of like my life. It really started when I was in college, because that's when you start
questioning stuff.
Yeah, questioning stuff,
and
right?
researching, and you meet different people, and
Exactly. So I had a translation class, because I did languages, right? So I had a translation class, and one of the texts that we had to translate was the Bible. And I was like, wait, like this was written 2,000 years ago, and it was translated into so many different languages, translated by so many people that you don't know, like you don't even know the context of these people. Are they male, female? What were their biases? Under which empire were there?
Yeah.
I mean, like,
Which king put their little stuff in there?
Exactly. And so I was like, yo, this is bullshit, because I'm doing translation work right now, and it's like very difficult. And then you insert your own, like, I'd have to say, like, it's so easy to insert your own bias into the text that you are translating.
So then to go back to this, then was part of the, when you, at the beginning of this conversation, when you came back to the Philippines after Spain, was this sort of unpacking or maybe disillusionment with Catholicism and the Bible? Was that sort of part of
that
the...
was before
That was before?
That was
okay.
before
okay.
it.
Okay.
That was before it. When I was studying college, so before Spain, like around 2000.
In college, your undergrad, you went here?
Yep, undergrad I went here, studied Spanish here, like around 2006, something like that. Anyway, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, like the whole past life thing. I didn't tell you this yesterday, but you know, my reason for studying past lives actually was really related to like that identity that I was talking about, like the identity issue, because I was like, wait, what the fuck happened to my previous lifetimes? Like, no, I really wanted to get into like intergenerational trauma. So I really wanted to check into, okay, like what happened to my ancestry? Like what happened to my great grandfathers and grandmothers? And so that's why I did it actually. Because I wanted to check that.
Okay, and especially, I'm sure then, since the Philippine history was wiped away prior 1521, you're like, maybe past life could help.
Exactly.
Okay, so you get into past lives.
Yeah, but that's, you know, just, and then also, since I was an academic, I really did try to ground everything in theory. Because, like, this is so incredibly esoteric. It was super duper abstract, and I'm like, you know, this is really not my training, and I was really uncomfortable without having some sort of like balance, because this is all like, you know, up in the air, and like, how do I know that this is even real, you know? And that's when I shifted from languages to medical anthropology.
Medical anthropology.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's get into that one. There's a lot to unpack here.
Sorry. This would all make sense, I swear.
Guys, if you're going to start meditating, just know it's going to open up a lot of new doors.
And so I got into, when I left academia, I was trying to finish another degree in anthropology, and I wanted to focus on medical anthropology.
Okay.
And that's basically health and politics, because like as I was going through like, you know, meditation and then yoga, like, you know, I really started to think about what health is and what healing is for me, and how do I define that? How do other people define that? Because like, you know, I was starting to become very critical about who I am. Like, Western or allopathic medicine is all in good, but I don't think that's the end all and be all of like
not at
health,
all. No.
right? And so it's like,
yeah.
and because like another thing, I was feeling very depressed. I did everything, man. Like, no, so when I was feeling very depressed because of like coming back home from Spain, I went to a psychiatrist. I went to a priest because I grew up Catholic, and then I had a life coach. I did everything, man, because I was feeling so sad, and I was like, wait, like this is not...
Good for you for going to a priest. Way to stay true. My grandmother would be very happy that you did that. My Irish grandmother would be very happy you saw your priest.
I went to all three because I was like looking for answers.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And then I was like, I went to the shrink, and I was like, I need medicine. Like, I need something. Give me something to like, help me feel better, because I was feeling so sad. And then she was like, no, you have a legitimate reason to feel bad, so let's work through this. And I was so disappointed, because I was like, wait, I'm not feeling well, and you have nothing to give me, like nothing in Western medicine, like I can't take anything from Western medicine to make me feel better? Are you kidding me? And that's when I started looking for different answers. And that's when I started reflecting, like, what is health? What is healing? How do other cultures define that? How do Filipinos define that? So that sort of stuff. And that's why I wanted to get into medical anthropology, to study that, because it's basically health, healing, and politics.
Wow. Health, healing, and politics. I love that. I love that it's health, healing, and I absolutely love that.
Yeah. Like one of the things I read, oh my God, this is super duper interesting. God, I can't remember the, I can't remember the author of this, but she was like one of my, because this was such a long time ago. But it's this, wait, I can't remember. Let's just add that later. Because I'm not okay with not citing my sources.
Right. Oh, this is an academic. This is an academic. You better cite your sources.
I gotta cite my sources. So just please include that somewhere. But I read this. Oh my God, this was so crazy. I read this ethnography about the favelas in Brazil.
Yeah.
And basically the thesis of the entire book was motherly love was a privilege. Because what she found out through her ethnography was that, because they're very poor, right? Mm-hmm. They're very poor, but they would keep on having these children. Yeah. So what she found out through her ethnography is that when the mother feels that the child is already going to die because of sickness, because of whatever reasons, because of starvation, she would actively not love the child so that she wouldn't feel the grief when the child dies. And that's incredibly political, because why is the child starving? Why would the child die? Because of health reasons, right? Wow. And so those are the things that medical anthropology would study. And so that was her main thesis, mother love is a privilege. Because you have to have money in order to love. Because you can't feed your kid, right?
So you feel guilty you can't feed your kid.
Exactly, and then the kid is going to die, so you're going to go through another
fault.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh,
so they start detaching themselves and distancing themselves from their child before the child dies.
Oh, that's heartbreaking.
It is. And so those are the things that medical anthropology studies. Yeah. For example, it's the same author. Oh my God, I have to remember her. I'm going to go look her up later, but she studied about the organ trade, the politics of organ trade. So stuff like that.
I'm sure there's nothing evil in that at all. I'm sure there's nobody doing anything evil. Organ trade doesn't sound sketchy at all.
Yeah, so I wanted to study all of those things because it involves health and well-being in a very political manner, very critical manner. And so that's what I was doing when I left academia. Because I wanted to ground all of this energy shit that I was doing. Past lives and stuff like that, intergenerational trauma, how does trauma change your body, stuff like that. But I wanted to ground it in actual academic theories. But then...
So I gotta ask you this question. How does tarot readings, how does that work with your academic brain of research, citing sources? Because there's a lot of people are gonna go, you shuffle these cards and you play them down and you say, oh, wait,
I've read stuff about that.
Okay.
I researched this thing.
Okay. Explain that, because a lot of people,
I'm so sorry. I keep on forgetting the authors and the titles of this.
It's all right.
I'm gonna have to add it later. But
It's gonna be a long bibliography in the comment section of this. Okay.
No, but there was. Oh my God! I did a report. I did a report when I was studying, and it's about card reading in France. And basically, the thesis of the entire paper was it's actually therapeutic. It's basically going to therapy. So it's kind of like that, because when you do, I don't know if people watching you truly understand what tarot is.
They may not. So I just my other YouTube show, Political Vigilante, once a year typically I would have my friend Karen Rontowski on, who's Paranormal Karen. She's a comedian that does psychic readings and tarot cards. So we've done live streaming her doing readings for me on this show. So I'm down with it, and I always tell my audience you don't have to believe in this or not. Just be open to it. And I think there's energy out there, and I think you can get a sense of things, and And then there are also people running scams. I mean,
That's true.
There's no, I mean,
That's true.
It's the psychic thing. I believe in psychic ability that people have it. I think it's something you could even foster or cultivate.
Oh, you definitely can.
Yeah, I've had
definitely
psychic
can.
experiences myself. And then I also know a scam artist could go, who's Lisa? I don't know a Lisa. Ooh, you will. All right, there's a scam. I just scammed you. There you go. Now give me $50. You know what I mean? Like, but then I've had psychic experiences myself. I've had them. And I just had one that I didn't listen to last month. It wasn't even a big thing. It was just like I was going to go to the gym, and I normally there's this band. I was doing physical therapy. One of my knees got weaker than the other, and it's starting to hurt. So over the summer, and I did these extra. My knees are all good now. But so I would take this band where you put it around your knees and you do these like squats and stuff. And I was like gonna go to the gym, and I just heard a voice say, "Grab the band." And I was like, and then I said to the voice, "Nah, they have bands there." And of course I go there, and the band that I normally use was not there. And I was like, listen to that voice, brother.
Exactly.
You know? And it's a hard thing to just delineate between just that instinct that comes up that says, oh, I should do this, or all of the like programming in your head that's fear and like it's a tough thing to sort out. So how did you get into that then?
No, because I think I got really so much into tarot because it really does tie in to my personal concept of what healing is. For me, healing is anything that would bring your entire system back to homeostasis, to balance. So it doesn't matter if that is surfing, if that is free diving, if that is dance, if that is yoga, meditation, church, whatever, tarot readings, then it's going to be good for your body. Because whenever you are in homeostasis, whenever everything is balanced, I am pretty sure that your cells would be working so much better, you'd feel better. And so that's why I was like, I'm just going to go do this, because I feel like it's more, I don't think academia is very healing.
My father, who's no longer alive, would agree. I'm amazed he didn't appear right when you said that from the beyond and go, she's 100% correct. He would complain about these people all the time, but anyway.
Yeah, and I became a teacher because I really did want to make a difference.
Yeah.
I wanted to make the world a better place. I want to create a world wherein there would be kind people, compassionate people, people who truly take care of one another, right? And I was like, wait, but like all of the things that I'm teaching, it doesn't actively contribute to that. Like, how do you teach kindness? Like, academia does not teach that.
You got a B- in kindness.
Exactly. Right, but that's for example. So I used to teach in the University of the Philippines. It's a national university of the Philippines, and our former dictator, Ferdinand Marcos, he studied in UP. And then he ended up running the entire country to the ground. And he's one of the smartest Filipinos ever. And I was like, wait, smartness does not make a better society necessarily.
No. I mean, Pol Pot was a Buddhist who studied at European universities. He's a highly educated man. He was a Buddhist who then killed 1 million of his own people. So it's like, and that's not to say education is bad or evil. I think an educated populace is overall a smart thing. I live in a country that deliberately miseducates its citizenry.
Same thing here.
But you're right. It isn't just that. You can't just say, oh, the educated are going to be better. No, no, you're not. That doesn't mean, because I think some people might just have, and I'd love to talk to a neurologist, or I don't know who would know this, but like psychotics, some of them might just be born that way. I don't know. They're born with some just
stuff in the brain.
Sociopathic thing that's like, and I know psychotic and sociopathic are different, but like a sociopath, I don't know, just has a like something that's just like, I gotta crush people.
I'm pretty sure, like,
I don't know.
Yeah, because their brains, I feel like their brains should be different, like, right?
There has to be something in there because it's like,
exactly.
and I think what they'll do is they'll just ascend to the top of whatever power structure they want or feel that they need to then exert their power and whatever crazy bullshit they've got going on in their head. Anyway, that was a weird turn.
Another side quest.
Tarot cards to Pol Pot. That was an odd switch. All right, so as we wrap up here, this is a really fascinating conversation. This is what the show is going to be. We're going to have some kind of food or drink. We're going to kind of talk about a little bit, and then we're going to get into whatever conversations about who people are. I just like learning, because I've met so many interesting people in all my travels, and I was like, I want to start putting this on camera. I've done this before. I have 2 documentaries, well 3, where I traveled a lot and met people. So then now, academia's kind of been behind you for a while.
Ish. I still read stuff.
That doesn't mean, I'm working in academia.
Yes.
Not that you'll always be a researcher.
Exactly.
You'll always be a researcher. That won't leave you. You'll always read. You'll always explore new ideas. But now that you've been, and you spend most of your time up here at this beach town, how is your life, and how do you feel about it? Emotionally, spiritually, but also the practicality of academia is very nice because it's a steady paycheck and your benefits, and now you're in a world where
I actually make more now.
Really?
I do.
Well, who
I
knew?
make more now.
Okay.
I make more now. So, yeah, I work as a professional tarot reader now. So I, like, there are like psychic marketplaces. Oh my God, that sounds so weird, but there are like several psychic marketplaces online, and basically I'm a phone a psychic right now.
Okay.
Yeah, it's actually pretty good.
And your quality of life compared to when, let's say, you were in Spain or even teaching in Manila?
Spain was different because I was paid to study.
Okay.
Because I was on a scholarship when I was there.
Right.
So that was very different, but like, I wasn't working and I had more free time.
Right, you were on a Scott, so yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
But, compared to like my life in Manila, I'm like, this is like the dream life. I live by the sea. I'm doing something meaningful. Why do I find it meaningful? Because, like, people would go to you and then they'd leave feeling empowered or feeling more hopeful or feeling more joyful. And I find that work very meaningful. Not that I didn't find academia meaningful, but I feel like, again, like the world I want to create is, I want to create a world with kindness, with compassion, and with love. And I feel like I'm directly contributing to that with what I'm doing. So yeah, that's why I made the shift.
That's awesome. Directly contributing to a world of kindness and compassion.
What else are we gonna do?
What else are we gonna do?
I mean, come on.
Make billions of dollars and make rockets and become billionaire assholes and work in the United States government? I'm not naming anybody by name. All billionaires are great people.
They're no ethical billionaires. Anyway.
There's no such thing as an ethical billionaire.
No such thing. No such
Okay,
thing.
cool. Well, if someone wanted to use your tarot services, where would they go?
Oh, they're just like, look for me online on like Instagram. People just send me messages there.
All right.
That's it. Yeah. You can just leave my handle there. It's
all right.
Mystica X Hobbies. That's it.
Mystica X Hobbies. I'll tag her Instagram. If you guys want to get a tarot reading, man, and learn about academia, this is the place. Well, Jenny, thank you. And we should tell the audience, I was just having dinner and I was walking down the street and I heard this music. And I was like, cool, and I went into this place, and there was a speed dating. I've never done speed dating, and I just saw this woman had like a little kitten, and I was just, oh, this is a cute cat. It was by the DJ.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know what's going on here, and then one of the organizers came up and said, are you here for the speed dating? I said, no, I'm not. She goes, do you want to do it? I said,
And then I approached you after because I was like, yo, you're a comedian? Actually know stuff about comedy.
Yeah, she knows all these American comics.
Yeah,
It
I
was really cool.
do. Because like I watch a lot of like stand-up comedy actually.
That's great.
Yeah.
So that's how we met. Total randomness.
Yeah.
And I came to La Union because I came to Manila for a couple of days, and I just wanted to go surfing, and I ran into some like some friends, and they're like a friend of a friend, and this surfer guy, total like Orange County, San Diego, was like, yeah, dude, you know, totally. I heard his voice. I was like, I know where you're from, brother. And I said, I just want to go surfing. I was going to go to Bel Air, and he goes, no, go to La Union, dude. There's a swell and bing bang and boom, which I've surfed 3 days straight. It's awesome. And so all of this, I was just letting the universe tell me where to go. And then I just followed the music, walked up the stairs, and I met Jenny. And now I've learned about all of this, and so have you. And so thank you.
You're very welcome.
So guys, put in the comments what you think, you know. Like, share, subscribe. If you say shithead things in the comments, I'm gonna block you, because you gotta be nice. Don't be a dick. It's not hard. Just be nice. You don't have to believe in everything. Yeah, we'll see you in the next video, on the next, wherever we're at.